great bills to sign today, and thank you all for coming. Please take a seat. Please take a seat. We are proud to be here at Big Dog Ranch. Very impressive facility. I mean, those of you who've been here know that. I've known about it, but this is the first time I've been here, and wow. We're joined by our Executive Director for Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, Dave Kerner. Of course, Lori Simmons, founder and CEO of Big Dog Ranch Rescue, president founder of the Ponce Animal Foundation, Debbie Dorino, Trooper Orlando Morales from the Florida Highway Patrol, and then we have Representatives Weinberger, Gerwig, Gossett Seidman, and the warrior Mike Caruso. They're all here today. Thank you. I think most people have a very soft spot in their heart for our four-legged friends. And this is something that my wife, and I mean, really, she's led it. But since the time we were married, she's been involved in fostering and helping rescue dogs. I remember I'd wake up from a nap and I have some dog licking me, and I'm like, what? Oh, I rescued another. But because she had a TV show at the time, so she'd profile them, and like immediately people would come and they would do it. And then she's even done that since we've been in Tallahassee, living in the governor's residence, where people see and then they come and are able to adopt and save a lot of great dogs. There's some of these places where they have these kill shelters, and that's where they really go to try to rescue those and save those dogs. And I know there's been so many people throughout Florida that have been involved in assisting those efforts. This place here is obviously really, really special. But we've been doing that, and it's something that's been important, particularly the First Lady. But I would also say, from an operational perspective, when I was deployed to Iraq way back when, during that conflict, you would not see a special forces mission without a military working dog. You would not see EOD without those dogs. And I'll tell you what, when they would train, when they would tell that dog who to get, they would latch on to that to the hostile, and they would not let go. I mean, it was pretty impressive to see how well trained they are. And of course, they're in harm's way too, not just when you're deployed militarily in a place like Afghanistan or Iraq, but even here with our police forces, our PDs, our sheriff's departments, and our state law enforcement. These dogs, the police dogs, the canines, the military working dogs, they have served our state, and they've served our communities, and they've served our country in really, really impressive ways. And I'm proud to say we have recognized that fact in the state of Florida over the years that I've been governor. A few years back, we signed a bill to authorize emergency service vehicles to transport injured police canines to a veterinary clinic to ensure they quickly get the care they need to recover if there is no individual requiring medical attention, and that was not something that they were permitted to do before that. So you now have EMTs that can provide emergency medical care to an injured police canine at the scene of an emergency and while the canine is being transported. We also signed a bill, Senate Bill 96, to increase the penalty from a third-degree felony to a second-degree felony for intentionally and knowingly causing great bodily harm, permanent disability, or death to police canines, as well as horses and other types of animals. We've also signed House Bill 1047 to increase criminal penalties for harming, harassing, or willfully resisting an animal working with police officers, firefighters, or search and rescue teams. We believe that these canines are an instrumental part of Florida being a law and order state. And I'm proud to say that as a matter of policy and as a matter of money, because we have provided help for veterinary bills, because I think one of the things that happens is these canines do a lot of good work. It's time for them to retire. And a lot of times the handler will want to adopt the canine, but the vet bills are tough. And so we had a program to be able to help with that. That's facilitated more adoption. So we're proud to not just say things, but actually do things that further this really important mission. Now, one of the bills today involves caring for animals and caring for pets during these natural disasters. So when we have the storms brewing, and look, we're getting ready to start hurricane season. We're going to do some announcements on that in the coming days. Everyone needs to be prepared. Now, I am hoping that we get a break this year. I mean, after we had 6 majors in 7 years, we had 2 majors last year, and then 1 additional. This is something that they kind of tend to go in bunches, and then sometimes you get a respite. Who knows, right? I mean, I can't predict. When they predict there's not going to be then that and that, and so it doesn't really. So who knows what'll happen? Hopefully we don't have to deal with it. But I can tell you, when we see a storm on the horizon, when we start ramping up the public messaging, one of the things we've been stressing is if you evacuate, make sure you're taking care of your pets. You cannot leave a dog behind if you're in an evacuation zone. All of our shelters, all of our counties have at least 1 shelter that is pet friendly. And we have told people, we do deals with the Restaurant and Lodging Association so that virtually any hotel will allow, during a state of emergency, dogs to go and your pets to go with you if you need shelter in a hotel room. So there's really no reason that you would need to be in a situation where you're leaving a dog behind. Now, we had a scene that was really sad to see as Hurricane Milton approached Florida last year in October of 2024. The trooper that's here with us today, Orlando Morales, he came across an abandoned dog tied to a fence on the side of Interstate 75, left to face the storm alone. Now, that's bad enough, but the water was rising very quickly, and so it was getting close to his neck, and had he just been left there, he may have ended up drowning or even have other things happen given the storm. So Trooper Morales pulled over, freed the pup, and brought him into his patrol car as the hurricane was approaching. This got a lot of attention in terms of social media and even legacy media. And so the dog has now been named Trooper. The dog's now in a safe and thriving home in Broward County. And the owners, Frank and Carla, wanted to be here today, but they're under the weather, so they weren't able to be. But we want to thank them and acknowledge them for giving Trooper a good home. It was a close call, but I'm glad that things worked out for the dog and for both Frank and Carla. Now, this story is exactly the type of cruelty that we cannot tolerate in the free state of Florida. We're a law and order state, and that includes the need to prosecute those who are derelict in their duty to take care of their own pets. So today I'm going to sign Trooper's Law, legislation that makes it a third-degree felony to restrain and or abandon a dog outdoors during a declared natural disaster or any time in which a mandatory or voluntary evacuation order is in effect. Leaving a dog chained up in the path of an ongoing storm is inhumane, and under this law, it will be a crime that carries up to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. The bill also codifies penalties for failing to provide confined animals sufficient food, water, and exercise, and for abandoning an animal as misdemeanors of the first degree with similar fines. This law, Trooper's Law, sends a clear message. Florida will not tolerate cruelty towards animals, especially in times of crisis. Now, what happened to Trooper is unfortunately not an isolated incident. Across Florida, we've seen horrifying instances of animal cruelty that demand a stronger response from our justice system. One of the worst examples was the case of Dexter, a shelter dog in Pinellas County, who was adopted only to be found brutally decapitated just 4 days later. Current sentencing guidelines don't match the gravity of these crimes, and it was evident that Florida law needed to do more to protect dogs from senseless violence. So today, I'm also proud to sign HB 255, also known as Dexter's Law, which strengthens penalties for aggravated animal cruelty and ensures the offenders are tracked and punished accordingly. The bill will apply sentencing multiplier, and it also creates Florida's first ever animal abuse database, making sure that shelters and the public have a right to be made reasonably aware of individuals convicted of animal cruelty in their community. The bill is narrowly tailored to only apply to acts of cruelty against domesticated companion animals. This does not in any way, shape, or form impact Floridians' right to hunt and fish, as that is traditionally done. So I want to thank the members of the legislature that supported this legislation. I think Florida will be better off once it's signed and enacted into law, and it just shows that when issues arise, Florida steps up, we lead, and we get the job done. And with that, we'll hear from some of our speakers. So we'll start with David Kerner from Palm Beach County.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your leadership on not just this very important issue, but all the issues that face the state of Florida and our beloved Floridians. As a Palm Beach County native, it is a pleasure to be back home here in Palm Beach County for just a little bit, and particularly here at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And on behalf of the Florida Highway Patrol, it's a very special honor to join our great governor, Governor Ron DeSantis, Lori Simmons, Debbie Dorino, and our honored members of the legislature for this very special and important bill signing. But most certainly, it is a huge honor for all of us to join all of you, the fighters and the soldiers and protectors of animals in need and love and rescuing. I thank you for what you do. I know how passionate you are, and I want you to know that it makes a very big difference in the lives of the animals that need rescuing and love. Thank you for never giving up on our four-legged friends and all of God's special creatures. And while I'm here today in my official capacity on behalf of the Florida Highway Patrol, I could not miss this opportunity to share with you my story about my four-legged friend. We all have that story, how we fell in love. And mine starts in 2017. Fortunately, Sheriff Bradshaw sent a contingent of deputies led by now Chief Tony Araujo over to Puerto Rico in 2017 after Hurricane Maria. The island was devastated. We were there to help to the best of our ability. We were in the rocky or mountainous portion of Puerto Rico called La Cordillera Central. I know I butchered that, but I remember being on top of this mountain, and out of the woods and out of the trees came a pot cake, and I think we all know what a pot cake is. Out came this dog that was just beaten, battered, bleeding, but he was smiling. And he came up to me and he put his paw on me, and I promised myself that I would give him the best life that I could give him. Now, understand at the time the logistics were very difficult in Puerto Rico, so getting him home was a challenge. And who did I call? I called, well, now Representative Meg Weinberger. She wasn't representative yet, but she was fighting the good fight. I said, I got this dog, I got to bring him home. She got on the phone with no other than Lori Simmons from Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And in my notes, I don't know why I recall this number, but Representative Weinberger and Lori were able to get my dog onto an airplane, and I thought that there were 120 dogs rescued in that moment. I was talking with Lori before the event. It was 7,000 dogs at Big Dog Ranch Rescue brought back from Puerto Rico to Florida. And I know I mentioned earlier that I said I would give Nick, that's his name by the way, Nick, the best life that I could give him, but I never imagined how incredible the life he would give me. And so Representative Weinberger, Lori, Big Dog Ranch Rescue, thank you for changing the course of both of our lives. It's been a blessing every day. Enough about my story. The real reason we're here is to cheer on our governor, our incredible governor, as he signs two fantastic bills. HB 255, Dexter's Law, and Senate Bill 150, Trooper's Law. Now, Trooper's Law did not come into being by accident. It didn't come out of nowhere. It started with the deplorable actions of a human being abandoning his dog on the side of an interstate during a hurricane. It involves the rescue of that same four-legged, beautiful dog by a state trooper. It then transitioned into a criminal investigation led by the Florida Highway Patrol, and it includes the heart-touching efforts of our governor and First Lady and their efforts to find a forever family for a trooper. And it ends today with the efforts of our state lawmakers to pass Trooper's bill into law, which will become official when the governor puts his signature to the bill in just a few moments. I'm honored to have State Trooper Orlando Morales, who rescued Trooper the dog. Let's give him a round of applause for your awesome efforts. Trooper Morales exhibits professionalism and heroism, which is the mark of a Florida State Trooper and all of our law enforcement officers in the state of Florida. But I cannot leave this momentous occasion without thanking each and every one of you in the crowd here today, including the governor and the First Family, for being soldiers and protectors of our rescue animals and our rescue organizations. It is not an easy fight, and I know sometimes it feels like it would be easier to just give up after all the pain that we've seen with the way that people treat and abuse these animals. But you never give up. And as long as we don't give up, neither will our rescue animals, who give us hope and a future for their incredible lives. Governor, thank you, not just for your official actions and leadership on this issue, but in your private life and your family life as well. I cannot tell you how surreal it has been to walk into the governor's residence or the governor's official office and have a rescue dog pouncing around as we do the business of the people of the state of Florida. How someone treats an animal speaks volumes of their character, and your family's character, and the character of the people who rescue animals is beyond reproach. And my final comment and thought is, I've never had the chance to publicly thank you, Sheriff Bradshaw. In 2024, we had a canine. His name is Diesel. He works right here in Palm Beach County. Trooper Canine Diesel was overcome with heat and exhaustion, and he was going to pass away. I didn't know who else to call. I actually reached out to Representative Weinberger. They told me that the dog was going to pass away if it didn't get to Gainesville. Our trooper, the canine handler, was going to drive that dog, Diesel, to Gainesville. We knew that that would not be a good ending to that story. And so you intervened and you allowed your pilots and your resources in your helicopter to get Diesel to the care at the University of Florida, and you saved his life. That's just one small example of the incredible way that you've served this community, and the Florida Highway Patrol thanks you for what you have done for law enforcement. Thank you, Governor.
First, thank you, Governor DeSantis, for coming to Big Dog Ranch. This is a historic moment for all of us. Shane, can you hand me my? Oh, a little bit.
There we go.
Forgot the important thing. Today marks a turning point, not just for us, but for thousands of dogs across this state who have no voice of their own. We're deeply grateful to the lawmakers who had the courage to put these bills forward, and to Governor DeSantis for signing them into law with conviction. Both these bills will save lives. Not possibly, not hopefully, they will save lives. They will force people to think twice before they abandon a dog or commit acts of cruelty we see far too often. At Big Dog Ranch Rescue, cruelty isn't a headline. It's a reality we face here every single day. Dogs like our BB, who is nearly starved to death, skin and bones, abandoned, abused, and left to die. We have dogs full of buckshot and ribs broken by hands of monsters. We have dogs that have been deliberately burned, where it takes months of painful wound care for them to recover. Another recent case just a few weeks ago of 3 Chihuahuas who were horrifically dragged behind a truck until they had no skin left on their arms or paws. Thank you for keeping that guy in jail, Sheriff Bradshaw. So many are severely neglected that their spirit is gone by the time they arrive to us. Others, bred to the point of collapse, living in horrific conditions, in small cages, never touching the ground or seeing the light of day, all to put money in the pockets of backyard breeders and puppy millers who care more about profit than these dogs' lives. This legislation is a signal. Enough is enough. Animal abuse must end. Those who hurt animals must be held accountable. Animal abuse is not rare. It is rampant, and it must be stopped. People who abuse animals need to be held accountable. No more slaps on the wrist, no more loopholes. You abuse an animal, you face real consequences, period. Our new campaign here at Big Dog Ranch Rescue is MADSA, Make America Dogs Safe Again. You all have hats underneath your chairs or in your chairs. Please wear them proudly and spread the message. We're targeting the bad actors, backyard breeders, and puppy mills that profit from cruel and inhumane breeding practices. Please spread the word. This is what we'll be up to the legislator for next year, trying to put an end to. So Big Dog Ranch Rescue has saved nearly 80,000 lives since opening in 2008. We wouldn't need to do this if bad humans had not failed them. We currently care for over 1,800 dogs and puppies between our 3 campuses. At least 30% of these dogs are victims of abuse or neglect. There are far more cruel people out there than we'd like to believe. But these dogs are more than numbers. Each one has a name. Each one has a story. And each one deserves a chance to live with dignity and to be loved. We believe that signing of these bills are just the beginning. We can end the cycle of cruelty through education, sterilization, and legislation. Together, we can build a future where no dog is left behind. We are proud of this moment, but make no mistake, we're just getting started. Next year, we'll be back, fighting for more protections, pushing for tougher laws, because every dog deserves better. To everyone who helped bring this bill to life, thank you. Thank you for caring. The dogs may not be able to speak, but today, your actions spoke volumes for the dogs. Thank you again, Governor DeSantis, not only for signing these critical bills into law and being a strong voice for the dogs, but for giving one of our own, Libby, a puppy mill survivor, the loving home she deserves.
All right, Trooper Morales.
How you doing, everybody? Can y'all hear me pretty good? All right, I don't know why I'm a little nervous now, but good morning. A little louder. Can y'all hear me better now? All right, good morning, everybody. So just to give y'all a little synopsis of my encounter with Trooper. On that day, on that morning, it appeared to be less traffic due to the prior days of evacuations. So thankfully I was available, and if anybody's familiar with the Tampa area, I was at the junction of I-75 and Interstate 4, and I sure enough just seen a indicator of a call that just came available, and it was a call of a distressed animal tethered down to a fence or a pole. And with immediate, pretty much action, I just started heading in that direction northbound, and it took several loops, but I thank God that he gave me the right time and right place of where to be. And after like the second or third loop, I was able to find a dog clearly in water, in distress. And it was a horrific moment to be in, but I was just thankful that I was able to find him. And sure enough, from the viral video that went everywhere, yeah, he was almost gonna bite me, but I had to give him some space. You know, he definitely earned that. He was clearly in distress. I took him in, and he got all the attention, the love, and the care that he needed. And thanks to Hillsborough County Humane Society, Leon County Humane Society, and also Big Dog Ranch. He was able to get all the care in the world and get to where he's at now with the Fosters all the way to Frank Spina and Carla. So as of right now, unfortunately, as the governor mentioned, they can't be here. Frank's under the weather, but I am in communication with him. He is doing absolutely amazing. I get pictures and videos, and if no one's aware, he actually adopted another dog. So Trooper has a fur companion. So he's living his best life, and he's doing amazing. And I want to just say thank you to Executive Dave Kerner, Governor Ron DeSantis. I want to say thank you to the Leon County Humane Society, Big Dog Ranch, and I want to say thank you to the state attorneys and legislators for, and also every single one of y'all here, everyone that's going to be watching this as well, because if it's not for any of y'all, y'all wouldn't be shedding a light on something that's a traumatic, and with every other experience that goes untold and unheard. So thank you all, and thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this.
Okay, and then our last speaker is Debbie Dorino.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for giving me the opportunity to share my story and for passing this bill. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Debbie Dorino. I am the person behind Dexter's Law. I am also the person behind Ponce's Law from 2018, which is your felony animal cruelty statute for the state of Florida, which also allows, at the court's discretion, to ban you from owning an animal if convicted. Dexter's Law is named after a dog named Dexter, who was adopted from the Pinellas County Animal Shelter and killed in a most horrific way. Dexter's Law has two key provisions related to animal cruelty in Florida. First, the FDLE will be required to maintain a public, searchable online database listing the names of individuals convicted or who have pled guilty or no contest to animal cruelty offenses. There are only a handful of databases across our country at this present time. Second, the bill modifies the criminal punishment code to impose a sentence multiplier of 1.25 for aggravated animal cruelty involving the knowing and intentional torture or torment of an animal that results in injury, mutilation, or death. Importantly, as Governor DeSantis stated before, this enhanced sentence provision does not apply to animals used for agricultural purposes or captive wildlife. The law aims to increase transparency around animal cruelty offenses and provide stricter penalties for severe cases of animal abuse. By creating a public animal abuse database, and mind you, it's not a registry, it's a database, and nobody's registering, and implementing more significant legal consequences, Dexter's Law seeks to deter animal cruelty and hold offenders more accountable for their actions. Dexter's Law helps push Florida to the forefront in the fight against animal cruelty. I'd like to thank Representative Linda Cheney and Senator Tom Leek for sponsoring Dexter's Law. They were not able to be here today. And a special thank you to my friend Meg Weinberger, Representative Weinberger, also for helping to sponsor this bill. I would like to thank you, Governor DeSantis, again for signing Dexter's Law and all that you do to keep our animals safe in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Well, appreciate everybody speaking. I think it's great, and you know, there is a lot more work to do. You know, it's interesting. I've got a preschooler. She's going into kindergarten next year, and she's like really interested in Chihuahuas. And I was just like, do Chihuahuas like the young kids? I don't know. I mean, it seemed like they probably be a little temperamental there. I tried to tell her. I said, you know, that may not be what you want right now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. But why don't we make it official? So everybody wants to come up, we'll do it and get it done. Well, great job, everybody. I know that we'll be doing some more work on this, I'm sure, in the coming months and beyond. And I really want to, again, just thank everybody here at Big Dog Ranch Rescue for the great work that's done, not just here in Palm Beach County, but in all these other states. And you got Franklin, Tennessee coming online. When's that coming online? Okay, so, so it's in the works. So that's really... Texas and Alabama are full swing. Franklin, Tennessee, outside of Nashville, is en route. Okay, we got any questions before I leave? Yes, ma'am?
We see some cases of animal abuse, or I should say dog trainers charged with animal abuse. Then there's no required training or certification or even licensing for these dog trainers beyond just the basic business content. Given that many other professions do require oversight, is that something that you and other lawmakers would consider addressing?
Did you hear that question about, is there an issue with the dog trainers, do you think? Okay. Well, look, I mean, I think, Lori says that maybe need to be something that you look at. Look, I want to protect the dogs. So, if there's things we can do, then I want to be a part of that conversation. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Hey.
Just with this off topic with respect to the budget battle happening up in Tallahassee, can you elaborate for us the latest on that? Any progress there?
So the legislature has really one duty, it's to do appropriations and do a budget. That's the only thing they have to do. Legislation like this is nice, but they're not constitutionally mandated to pass policy changes. They are mandated to do the budget. It should have been done at the beginning of May. I don't think they have an agreement, but we're going to have to get this done. And so traditionally, I've kind of let them do these things. But there obviously is going to come to a point where we're going to say enough is enough and we're going to get it done. So it will get done one way or another. Yes, ma'am.
Governor, the bills that were passed today and signed today are so important for animal cruelty and criminalization. But what about enforcement? What is the biggest hurdle you have to tackle with enforcement and implementation?
Well, no. I mean, I think that we've now given prosecutors better tools and law enforcement better tools to be able to hold people accountable who are being cruel with animals. And, the reality is sometimes things would happen in the past, but it's such a low-level offense that they've got all these other cases going on, so sometimes that may not be their priority. Well, now, if you look at, like, Dexter's Law, if you look at some of the things, these are real serious offenses. And so I think it's being treated with the gravity that it deserves. Harming, obviously, the offenses against other human beings are what most of the criminal law is geared toward, and rightfully so. But I do think people look at that and say, wait a minute, we have a responsibility to look after these animals, particularly these dogs, who need human beings. They're caring for them. And if you're not going to do that and even go beyond to commit harm against one of these innocent dogs, then you need to be held accountable. And I do think it's going to be a deterrent as people see that this happens. And I know they did the thing with Trooper. When that happened, the state attorney in Hillsborough County, she pursued it, Susie Lopez. And I think that made a big difference. So these are the tools. Obviously, you got to be able to prove a case and all that. But as long as it's a viable case on the facts, I think you're going to see people want to take this on. And I think that when the Trooper situation happened, in the Tampa Bay area, there was huge support from the public to be able to hold that individual accountable. I mean, why you would chain them on a fence on an interstate with at the time it was a Category 5. Now it's slowed, but this thing was approaching, and you have all the water that was rising. And I'm just thinking to myself, what would possess you to do that? I mean, if you're evacuating, you're taking the dog in your car and dumping them instead of just keeping them in your car. It just makes no sense. And there are sometimes that people are doing things that need a very swift response. So I know that there's going to be other conversations going forward about other ways that we can do. It's just 95% of the people in our society would never do any of this stuff, right? You wouldn't even need laws. They're just not going to do it because they know. But you got that small number of people who just don't have the same basic care for the pets and these animals that almost everybody else does, and that can turn very sadistic, as we saw in Dexter's case. And there's people that have a fetish of being cruel to animals. And again, this is a very small percentage, but they can do a lot of damage. And so it's our job to hold them accountable. Okay, guys, thank you.